Good afternoon. Welcome to our special commission meeting, Monday, August 7th. The time is now 3:11. Commissioner Williams, can you lead us into, Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Commissioner Bass? I'm here. Vice Mayor Irvin? Hello, I'm here. Commissioner Kelly?
Present.
Commissioner Williams?
Here.
Mayor Taylor?
Here. Commissioner Williams, can you lead us in?
Sure. Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for the many blessings you bestowed upon us this day. Lord, we continue to ask that you shine a light on the great city of Opa-locka, residents, workers, employees, everyone that is here for the greater good. In these things we ask, amen.
I pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we're going to go into our public input, and we ask that you stay germane to the topics at hand. So public input is open. Madam Clerk, do we have any?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, we do have a virtual public comment. Dolly McIntyre?
Okay. You have the floor.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? This is
One
Dolly.
second, Ms. Dolly. Can you turn it up?
I'm sorry, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. 1 second.
What? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my name is Dolly McIntyre. I live at 1835 South Bay Shore Drive in the Grove. I'm a member of your Historic Preservation Board. And as such, I've had some interaction with the current interim city manager. And I would just like to state that he seems to be a very positive person, have a very can-do attitude, and is very much in favor of the best for Opa-locka. So I would ask you to look at home before you look abroad. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. McIntyre. Okay. All right, public input is still open.
Good afternoon, Mayor Commissioners, Audrey Dominguez, 1147 Jan Avenue. What I'm going to speak to has to do with the workshop, which is connected with what we're going to speak on today. On August 3rd, you had a workshop to discuss back to school and the background check of all candidates for the city manager's position. At the beginning of the workshop, there was no audio for a good 10 minutes. After the audio was up, the HR director came up and spoke about the folders that she received from the city clerk, Joanna Flores. The HR director stated on the record that 2 of the 3 candidates had provided their driver's license and completed the employment application for the exception of the interim city manager, Jarvin Williams. Why is a good question. It is my understanding that in order to qualify, you must complete the entire process to be considered for the position, which clearly he did not. Regardless of how busy he is, he still applied for the position.
It's a capacitor. It's a quick capacitor thing.
Therefore, he had to submit all required documents.
I mean, I won't be able to tell immediately. So
1 second, Commissioner. Can you mute Ms. Down? Go ahead.
Okay, well, I lost some minutes, or seconds, I don't know. Okay. I was a bit confused when the HR director stated that level 1 background check, which is a state, was done. However, level 2, which is a national search, had not. Then when FDLE agent went up to the podium, he stated that they were all completed. I feel that being that you had just received the packages, you really didn't have enough time to review the packages. And if you wanted to ask questions, maybe you should have had it done privately with the FDLE agent. Now, I do understand that the FDLE agent asked not to be recorded. However, the workshop was supposed to be a public meeting. 40 minutes had passed. We had a black screen and no audio. I just want to caution you for the future, because this could be considered a violation of the Sunshine Law. Also, if you, the commissioners, consider him for the position, you might have lawsuits because of the fact that the other candidates completed the process and they didn't have a criminal background like he does.
Okay, public input is still open. Public input is closed. As we. Sorry. We're gonna go into our discussion items. And the first discussion item is the city manager recruitment process. And I believe we stated, we just want to reiterate that we stated that we would close it by August 31st. Is there any changes that you all would like to make to the process as it stands today?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Williams?
so I'm not sure if there will be a length that we need to stretch. I have a feeling that there may be some more additional time that we're gonna need to add. I don't know if we will know until after the agenda item so that we can get some clarity on how long all those processes will take, if that makes sense.
Perfect.
Depending
sense.
on if it passes or not. I guess is what I'm saying.
I'm assuming you're talking about the background screening.
Correct,
So-
yes.
Yes, ma'am. I hear you. I was thinking that if we made a decision prior to the findings, that the decision does not come into effect. Madam Attorney, how would that work? Can we make a decision if let's just say we vote the 31st, but the background screens are not fully complete? Can it be dependent upon, or the hiring be dependent upon the findings of?
Yes, that's how it would generally work anyway.
That's how it would,
Mhm.
Okay.
because okay. Does that answer?
So subject upon,
Subject upon,
So it's still, it'll, in other words, it'll be open-ended, right? And we can just come back in if time is needed.
yes.
Okay.
mhm. You can,
Okay.
revise the timeline if you need to also.
okay. And I think as it stands today, we stated when we do I'm going off on memory, the whole process would be done, we'd be over by August 31st. We would do, I believe, individual interviews, and then time in between to do interviews with the community, as a town hall meeting, and then allowing the commission to come back to the candidates to interview if they have additional questions, and they will schedule a special commission meeting for the vote. Is that, and that's just me going off of memory. That's correct? You shaking? Okay.
That's correct.
All right. All right. So any changes to that process? All right. The second discussion is to actually discuss the resolution, but I'm gonna ask that we not discuss on the second discussion and then go straight to the resolution and then open up discussion there. If everybody's okay with that. All right. Madam Attorney, resolution.
A resolution of the City Commission of the City of Opa-locka, Florida, authorizing a level 2 background screening process for shortlisted candidates for the position of city manager, requiring that established policies and procedures of the City of Opa-locka are followed for background screening, requiring the production of information and forms from shortlisted candidates as needed, requiring the Human Resources Director to engage an independent professional background screener on an emergency basis up to a set amount, providing for incorporation of recitals, providing for conflict, providing for an effective date. This is sponsored by Mayor Taylor.
All right, can I get a motion?
Move it.
Moved by Commissioner Williams,
Second.
second by Vice Mayor. And this item is a response to what transpired at the last workshop. I just want to make sure that this process is transparent as possible. And it was stated, like it was stated earlier, that the HR director stated that an level 2 background check was not completed. So we want to make sure that we are doing our due diligence and to hire an outside firm to complete this process, to move it forward. So do we have any discussion on this item?
I do.
Commissioner
Um,
Williams?
Thank you, Mayor Taylor. Because I wasn't here and I didn't get the Zoom link, so everything that I'm hearing, I'm kind of hearing in passing. I don't know, I'm so sorry, HR Director, if I can ask for you to come up, if you don't mind. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So I'm curious to know, I just heard that so two things, I heard, these are of course all here, so I just wanted to make sure I got it from you.
Mhm.
That you received the packets early, we just didn't get them in time. Is
I
that-
received them on Friday at my secretary told me at 4:43, I was meeting with the kids because it was one of the students' last day. So I was giving them career advice and then also college level experience advice. So at the time she came in, she had the package, she wanted to drop it off. I think we had a date stamp of 11:30 something on Friday when she received it. She sent it to me, or she gave it to me sealed package. Then she called Bernadette when she dropped it off to me to stipulate my roles and what I need to do in order to help you as a commission move to the next step. So, but since it was so late on Friday, everybody was working 8 to 5. I could have stayed later, but I didn't because it was Friday at 5 pretty much. And then on Monday I got sick. Tuesday, I reviewed it because I knew that was going to be the top of everybody's priority, and which I did. And then Joanna called and I told her my findings. After that, I sent an email. Then I prepped the green folders in response to then forward it to your offices. On Thursday, there was a date, but I was putting in a lot of, if I didn't put in certain things, we would have gone into violation for FRS, for benefits, for numerous of other things. So I took the initiative to choose those things so we won't have to pay those violations and then move that forward to you on Thursday. So by Thursday morning, although we had the workshop on Thursday, that was the quickest I could get it to you. And then I was advised to then give it to you in commission.
Okay, thank
Or
you.
at the workshop.
So your statement during our special meeting was that there was no level 2 background.
Correct.
But then when I walked in, the FLDOE, I'm so sorry.
FDLE agent.
The agent
Mhm.
said that it was.
Yes.
So there's some discrepancies. Was it not there and then it was there, or?
No. From when I received it and opened that package, level 2 was not there, not by the FBI. He claimed that there was another criminal background level 2. I don't know what that is, but according to your ordinance 2-3.1, you have to have an FBI level investigation. And those reports look a certain type of way, which is why I gave you attachments 1 and 2. Attachment 1, I believe, was a level 2 and what the report looks like. Attachment 2, also, it was a level 1 and what that report looks like. If those reports don't look like that, that means it's a completely different report.
Okay.
And I can attest to that too, because I came from the county and all we did was level 2. So I know what they look like there and what they look like here. Also, we get parks and rec leaders and anyone from parks and police, they have that level 2. So why would we do a different one for the city manager as opposed to this. Not only that, it would be in violation of our ordinance and policies and procedures.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up. I wasn't, like I said, I walked in, so I wanted to just kind of hear it from you, from the horse's mouth, what those discrepancies were that I was hearing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm done, Mr. Mayor.
Commissioner Bass?
Thank you. Just quick question.
Mhm.
You stated that only 2 applicants presented their applications.
Mhm.
So what was that we were looking at in our packages?
Which one? The brown folder?
No, the original one when we chose the last 3.
I didn't see that. So I don't know what was in that folder.
No, that's the letter of interest is what was provided. I believe what you're referring to when everybody sent their resumes
The resume.
and the letter of interest.
I didn't see that at all.
Okay, thanks.
But as far as the job applications, Commissioner Bass, I wasn't at the meetings. I'm only going by what I heard and then it went. So
Yeah.
The job applications was how many? Only 2
Based on what was posted, all of the resumes were sent to Joanna, and then you guys reviewed those resumes. And then that was when you selected your finalists, from my understanding, but I didn't see any of that information. I received the names to reach out to them Joanna reached out to them after the fact to then do the formalities behind it. Although in the beginning, I would have recommended to have them fill out the application online, because it looks like only 3 people filled out the unemployment application, when in fact that you have an applicant pool of 18 as opposed to 3.
Okay. But the 3, the short list of candidates, I think this is Commissioner Bass's question.
Are now filling out employment applications. Yeah. Yeah. Well, 2 I received back. I'm just waiting on Mr. Managers.
He still has it.
Mr. Mayor, I
Commissioner-
just want to add that, the special, if I may.
No, go ahead.
The special commission meeting, July 18th, that the commission had to select the top 3. All the letters of interest, including the resumes, was attached to that agenda package, which is a public document on our website. Some information was redacted in terms of, for privacy concerns, in terms of their addresses and telephone numbers. But that is a public document that's available on our website to this day. If you click on the agenda packet for July 18th, all the letters of interest and a link was sent to everyone as well with that information. So
Okay.
just to make it clear that that is a public document.
Okay. So Commissioner Bass, so to Commissioner Bass's question, only 2 applications to this day have been received. We're still waiting.
Yes,
on
and
one.
I've sent reminders to everybody.
All right. Any other questions on this topic?
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
thank you. I am, as I said the other day, very concerned with what's taking place. I appreciate the resolution, Mr. Mayor, but I'm really challenged that we're at this point of doing and authorizing a level 2 background screening when we already had given that directive as that's what it should have been. So to me, somebody has not done their job. Now we can sit here and fluff over it. This commission was clear that a level 2 background check was what was required in addition to anything else, but that term level 2 was very clear. And to get here at this point, after all of the dialogue the other night with the losing the sound, the audio, the feed, which by the way, Mr. Mayor, to my colleagues and to the manager's office, I'd like to get a report on what happened as to why that feed went off and how long it was off. I heard what the residents said, but I want to get the official document in black and white, why it was off, how it went off, when it came back on, et cetera. It was very clear for a level 2 background screening. Now here we are having to do a resolution basically saying the same thing that we said at that point. Somebody needs to be accountable for that. Point blank. It was clear of what this commission was asking. And so we can sit here and talk about application. It was clear on the level 2 background screening. And the HR director is clearly stating when she opened the box, it wasn't there. Now, how FDLE got in here, how that process took place with law enforcement, I'm still baffled. Because some of my colleagues asked the question the other workshop, how did they get here? What transpired that they were here to take on that assignment? There are too many unanswered questions in this process, too many. And then on top of it, we had dialogue going back and forth between the current interim manager with HR director on an application being filled out or not. That should not be taking place this far in the process. It shouldn't be taking place. And everybody want to walk on pins and needles. I don't walk on them. This process is really great challenging to me. And here we are now doing a resolution authorizing a level 2, which should have been done. Should have been done. So Madam HR Director, since you're at the podium, to your knowledge, since you're the director, should you already have all that information?
Yes. It takes usually 3 to 5 days to receive it after the fingerprints are done.
Secondly, in terms of all 3 of the applicants that we chose, the information that you're still waiting on from one of the applicants, should you have already had that?
Yes.
But you don't.
No.
And in your professional opinion, because you're the HR director, what happens when you don't have information in a timely manner?
Typically, you're disqualified from the process.
Employee that shows up to fill application for the city to work in any department that doesn't turn in information in a timely manner, what usually happens to them?
They're disqualified.
Thank you for your professional opinion. Mr. Mayor, you got the resolution agenda. We can't move forward without a level 2 because it's required by our ordinance. But I don't think this is the end of this. I don't think this is the end of this by a long shot. But your resolution is here to move this process forward. We've got to do a level 2 background screening. But yeah, I'm challenged by exactly what has been said. And I think at the appropriate time, Mr. Mayor, after I hear the rest of my colleagues' discussion, I want to potentially add an amendment. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Wait,
If I may, sure.
ma'am?
I'm confused. I just want to be unconfused. A level 2 was done or was not done? Because at the workshop, they said a level 2 was done and it was given to Joanna's office. So I just need a little clarity. That's it.
I think the discrepancy is FDLE stated, and I'm on this saying, you know what, because I wasn't here. You say it.
The agent that was here said that a level 2 was done, but it was some other, not FBI, it was some NAI, I don't know the acronyms, but for that agency, that was level 2 according to his opinion. My opinion is that that is not a level 2. Not only that, but our ordinance and policies and procedures stipulate that it needs to be an FBI level 2, not the NAI, whatever he said it was.
Yes.
NCIC. Thank you. Right.
Come on, Chief.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you, so we have to go and request that to the FBI that we want to have a FBI exam.
It should have.
Background check.
Mhm.
So who requests that, the HR director or the chief of police?
We schedule the fingerprints to be done with the police and then the police coordinate that. I can defer to Chief Otley if you would like me to defer to him.
You want to hear?
Okay,
Yeah,
that's fine.
I would like to
Yes,
speak to.
please. Because I do happen to have a couple FBI friends. And the reason I'm asking, so I'll know, I didn't know this process was gonna go to world size. So I asked myself, who in the city, who does who requests from the FBI that they need to have a background check? And I was told the chief of police. I was also told that they usually don't do FBI checks on city managers. So if you can enlighten me, I would
Yes, sir.
appreciate it.
Mr. Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for the question. So FCIC and CIC are the two checks that we conduct on everyone. So when we pull someone over and we run them, we do an FCIC, NCIC check, background check, and it comes back via our dispatcher. In this situation, it would be run through FDLE, through that same process. That information comes back. And if an NCIC check was done, then that would be a level 2 background investigation, background check. Now, the document that the HR director is speaking of, I haven't seen that. I'm not sure. Corey, you can follow up on that? The NCIC FCID document that the HR director has?
Okay, but Vice Mayor, you said the second part of the latter part of your question, the reason why we specifically are referring to FBI is because it's in our ordinance, that it's supposed to go to FDLE and FBI. So that's the reason for that.
Okay.
So it's not the city chief of police requesting it, it's actually our ordinance.
I got that
requesting it.
part,
Okay.
yes.
So Sergeant Crotenberg will clarify.
So if the chief might know, or what's the length of time that we usually hear from the FBI when we're doing an FBI search? If you know, if you don't, it's fine.
When we enter the fingerprints, when we take the fingerprints are done via live scan. They're taken under what we call as an ORI number, which is an originating agency number. The ORI number that we created for our live scan machine goes directly to human resources so that the police department can't see it. Nobody can see it, only human resources. Before human resources can open that form, they have to complete a LIMS training, which is LIMS. The only person that had completed that training previously was Kiera Ward. Once she left, that authorization to view those fingerprint results are no longer valid. So what we had done is we sent the training information and the access to the website to Diana so that she can register for the LIMS and she can pull the FBI fingerprint record request that we submitted. They were all submitted. They were all sent. They're all right now sitting in a human resources folder on FDLE's server, waiting for us to complete the training so that our human resources person can take all that information off their secure server without having anybody else interfere with it.
Okay, now I'm confused.
Okay, so we have it. It's just sitting there like Macy's. They have it in the store. They're just waiting for somebody to go and pay for it and put it in their bag and keep going.
Correct. And that came from the fingerprints. There was 2 backgrounds that were run here. Effectively, there were 2 separate backgrounds. The one that FDLE ran was a national criminal history check, which also checks through the FBI. It checks through CGIS, it checks through NLITS, it checks through a list of different locations and compiles somebody's criminal history. They do that without the fingerprints. You can run a nationwide check, you can run somebody's criminal history, and you don't need the fingerprints. What we did was we also, on top of running the one that FDLE ran, we also submitted the fingerprints so that when those results came back, they can be compared to the results that FDLE got and make sure that nobody had interfered anything with the process. It's sort of like a backup so that you guys can be assured that the information that you got matches what we got from the third party.
Gotcha.
if I didn't confuse everybody even more.
No, you didn't confuse me anymore. I think I got this. I got this.
Okay.
I've been doing a little investigating too. I told you I'm a police in my other life.
I think. Mr.
So
Mayor,
have Miss Diana finish the training that's needed to access the next level of Miss Diana. I think that's her name.
That's not what they-
Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am.
I
Miss
will,
HR.
yes, she has, I will go as soon as possible upstairs after this meeting and we'll see what's going on with that. Usually they send up the results as well, so, but I will go in and check this time and see it's in there.
Is it possible, because I'm
I'll
on
check,
vacation
but
right now.
I don't have
Is it
access.
possible that whoever took the training
Mhm.
could quickly run and see if they
Yeah.
could access whatever, so we could know, so
Absolutely.
that we don't have to do this again next week?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
yes.
So
I'll get it done
I'm
by the end
over
of
this
today.
For real, like
Yeah,
we're
I'll check
beating
with
dead
her.
horses. So the horse just came alive.
Mhm.
We can do that. And do we need to take a break or something while she
Wait,
go do that?
One second.
It might take longer than, I don't
Yeah, I
know.
don't think that's gonna be
Yeah.
a 2-minute process. Commissioner, you finished? Mike? Commissioner Williams?
Thank you. Thank you, because that shed a lot of light. I just wish, because we have been talking about this for a few months,
Mhm.
that there have been discussion between departments,
Mhm.
that all of this could have been flushed out on the back end, so it didn't like unfold
Mhm.
in front of the public. I just, that. So like, but those are the systemic issues that I keep saying we have. Those are all those systemic issues that, I'm sorry, it's just what it is. It's a system breakdown. Checks, balances, people not talking to each other, departments, inter-department conversations. We can't have Big Brother up here and everybody's not talking below. So so thank you, Sergeant, correct? Sorry, for, sharing that information. I did ask some people out here in the streets, as Vice Mayor said, about the NCIS.
NCIS.
That was a joke. Okay. But, and then, so I was told that does suffice as a level 2. So that's why I asked that question, because I'm like, but wait a minute, it was told that because you said there's no level 2.
Mhm.
Could it be that you had not heard of that process before in your
It's
form?
true, but our ordinance says FBI and our policy and procedure says FBI. If that's what we want to like signify as a level 2, that's all up to, I just follow the rules.
So are we saying, because I'm hearing two different things. Are we saying that's not FBI? Is that
They're
not
saying it's
FBI?
equivalent to, but based on like the printout, that I'm going from my experience and my knowledge. So if they believe that to be a level 2, there's nothing I can say about that. And I believe a level 2 based on the ordinance and what I've seen.
So I understand what you're saying. No, and thank you for following the ordinance. So an FBI, according to our FDLE representative,
Mhm.
that it would take a very lengthy time, several days, I believe, was it? How long does it take for the FBI?
The prints, they run them and they come back in a couple of days. So that's why I don't understand. And
So-
typically the results are forwarded to our offices in paper format. So, but we'll go and
So-
look ourselves and go into the
Okay.
system ourselves.
We didn't want to send them to the office in paper format for 2 reasons. One, it gives the impression that somebody else could have adulterated them or had something else to do with them if they're given in paper format. You don't know the origin of them. So we did not send them. The second reason for that is we cannot deliver those forms to anybody that has not taken that LIMS training because it's protected information. And all of that information is, yes, it's disseminated from the FBI. The FBI is the one who regulates the criminal histories. That's what is run. The ORI number runs it through the state, and then it runs it through the FBI, which is the first level is the state, the second level is the FBI, which is where we got the second level training. And for complete, I hate to say the word transparency because everybody yelled at it last time. We have two separate level twos that have come in. One was hand delivered by Agent White. The second one is literally sitting in a queue and it's been there for
And that second one is FBI.
straight
Without a
from the
doubt.
prints
Okay.
directly from our machine to the servers to human resources that could have not been touched by anybody. There's an audit trail on it that is just absolutely completely secure. And that's why we did it that way, so that nobody can say the police department, FDLE, or anybody had anything to do with it. And you can compare it to the ones that FDLE gave you. And if it all matches up, everything is, pristine.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Williams, okay, I have two questions. So the first question is, the fingerprints was ran by FBI, that's what you're saying?
Yes, they're run through the
Okay.
FBI.
So I wasn't here last meeting. But why wasn't this stated last meeting versus bringing it up today? It was the whole, it's sitting in a folder and not being downloaded, and that was stated last meeting?
No.
That's my point. Why is it just coming up?
They've been sitting in the folder since a day after they were ran. We went through and I met with IT and I said, well, where are these results? Because I knew that there was some question as to what Agent White had given, and I wanted to provide the commission with a completely secure data and information that went to the human resources. So I went and I said, well, where's the location of these? And we got on the phone with FDLE and then the FBI, and they said, oh, we sent those back. They're sitting in your secure folder and Kiera White can go and get them. And Ward. And then we said, oh, that's going to be a problem. So then we sent all of the training information to human resources and we said, please take the training, log into your account and retrieve these secure backgrounds so you can compare them to what was provided. So it was just through everything that had transpired, we realized that there was a second set of backgrounds, or not an additional set that was sitting somewhere, and we didn't realize that nobody had seen it. I didn't see what was in the packets that was given to you. So I didn't know that it was not put in that packet. So we went to IT and then we said, okay, yeah, they're sitting in it. We can see them sitting in it, but we can't access them because they're only can be accessed by the HR director or their designated.
So that happened after the commission meeting, special meeting.
After the
You
special,
found out
after the
the day
special
after.
meeting and all of the confusion about it and all of the back and forth, I went back and I said, well, where did this process break down and what could be causing the confusion? So I looked at I haven't even seen what Agent White provided, but I know that what we did on the fingerprint scans, and I know that has to have come back somewhere. And I checked to see if anybody had got it and they told me it was Kiera's responsibility. And then when I informed that she was no longer here, they sent us the information that we can get somebody in human resources up into that authorization level so that they can pull the reports directly to them.
Mr. Mayor,
Who said that?
I just want to clarify,
Oh.
that's,
I'm sorry, Madam Attorney, I didn't see you.
yeah, I just
Okay.
wanted to clarify, that's what this resolution helps with. So all this confusion about the authorization and all that, the resolution allows for the screener to help with all that and assist, and you would do the process over again so that you can rerun the fingerprints, have clean slate, and the screener will be helping within the process.
I'm sorry, but that doesn't help. I know what you're saying, but I don't see how that helps. You're saying, Madam Attorney, to redo the process, to pay someone to be the screener, and you're saying this is going to help?
The screener is within the policies and procedures, so that's something that you all would have to do anyway.
Oh, no, that's not what she's saying.
I think in light of the new developments, and this is just speaking clear. Listen, organizations, these things happen all the time. I'll be remiss to tell you, even in a large organization that I work in, these things do happen. So I'm not going to sit up here and point fingers or smite, especially when the sergeant said he made personally the phone call and it came a day after. And I do understand, what the HR director, Miss Diane, she's your designee. Okay, so, to me, this new information brings a different light. I know it was stated things didn't look right, which I'm gonna be honest, it didn't. But now it seems as if we can get back, because as long as we see an FBI, which is now we're understanding is sitting in the queue.
It's sitting in the queue and all three of them ran them. And the two that were run by our machine are sitting there, and the third one that was run by the Fort Lauderdale machine, and it was run through our ORI. They went to the Fort Lauderdale Police Department, one of the applicants. They put it under the ORI. We can see it on our side that these are waiting to be read, but we're not allowed to access them because only human resources can. So it was the way we, structured so that honestly, so there would be no question. And it was transparency.
Okay.
So that's why we did it like that. And we didn't realize that Kiera was the only one with access to it until after the meeting. I went and checked and said, uh-oh. And then we got all the training information, all the login and everything up to human resources so they can get it and they can pull it. But when they do go in and get it, what you will see is the date that fingerprint was scanned and the date that criminal history came back will be at the time that the applicant did it, it was literally just sitting there, but nobody accessed it.
Okay, I think we.
Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor. Mr. Mayor.
Madam Attorney?
Yes, I wanted just to make it clear that it's not just the level 2 background check that's required per your own rules and policies and procedures that were written to comply with one of the audit findings on having a policy. In that policy, it not only requires the level 2 background check, but it also requires educational background checks and professional background checks and references background checks. If you look in your resolution, it's very clear there are a lot of other things that are required. And so that's why when Ms. Cobb mentioned getting, you have to get that additional person anyway to do that, perform those checks. That's why that's required, because it's required by your own policies and procedures. It's not just the level 2 background check. So since that person, whoever you hire, whoever the HR person hires would have to do those things anyway, they could easily rerun it, if you saw fit, those fingerprints. However, if you decided that you wanted to use the level 2 information that's already in the system, that's fine too, but you still have to do those other backgrounds according to your own policies.
But can those backgrounds be done by the HR?
They could be done by the HR.
Yes, she said yes.
The question is, I guess, whether the HR person feels that she is not in conflict or feels compromised in any way by doing them, but they could be done by HR.
No, I don't feel like there's a conflict of interest. I'm going to be running the backgrounds on everybody, including their education and their verification of employment, because that's what we do for every applicant, no matter their status in the city. So I can do that. We do that with every applicant. It was just the backgrounds.
And with that, she would also need to get that application and also get the driver's license that she had reported at the last meeting had not been produced.
Okay.
I received his driver's license, so the last thing on the list would be the employment application.
Miss HR, tell me, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine.
What's
Miss Robotham.
Miss Robotham?
Robotham, or you call me Alexia.
Miss Alexia. Quick question. So if I'm already working for an organization and clearly I've applied for that organization, is it written in the policy or procedure that I also have to reapply all over again? For example, I'm changing from vice principal to principal. I don't need to reapply to the entire organization of Dade County Public Schools. So I'm confused. What are we saying?
You're applying for the position.
I'm applying for the position, which I don't have to, by the way, because it's okay. But I'm just saying, But I'm just saying, because I
Yeah.
don't have to reapply for a position.
Mhm.
But are we saying that our policy is that when you reapply for a position, even though, so if I've applied for a position that I'm sitting in, but I've applied for it, I still have to reapply because it's a different type of.
Correct. So technically, we
I'm
don't have a
assuming it's just
policy
because interim
against
to-
it.
okay,
Yeah,
I got
but like, okay, for instance, when I was in the county, every time I got an increase or not an increase, I got a promotion, I applied for that position, whether it be personnel specialist, senior personnel specialist,
Of
junior
course.
analyst. I
Okay.
applied for every single one and I had to provide educational and verification of
Oh,
employment all
God,
over
no.
again.
That-
So, but for every single one, I had to do that no matter, I was in the county from as soon as 6 months after undergrad.
Okay.
So every single time we had to, it's best practice too. But according to your charter, all you need is your educational requirements and a resume and verifying that employment. So technically, based on your ordinances and your policies, you don't need to, but it's best practice to do so moving forward.
So that's what I wanted to make sure, because it's being said lawsuits, and I want to make sure.
It's true, but
'cause
we
I
asked
know
the other two
that's-
applicants to turn it in. So we
No,
just
no,
want to
no, of
mitigate
course.
that.
No, we definitely need them from all, but I'm
Mhm.
just saying, according to policies and procedures, there's nothing that says if I'm within the organization already, but of course, as a best practice. So moving forward, we should definitely make sure that we have that in.
Correct.
But
Because it
there's,
can look like pre-selection and then we weren't fair internally. and
Mr.
externally,
Mayor?
including-
okay.
1 second, Madam Attorney.
Mr. Mayor?
1 second, Madam
Okay.
Attorney. Go ahead, Commissioner.
So can you finish the last part? Because I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, no, it's just best practice. And not only that, for litigation purposes, it's better to do an internal and external recruitment. So we show that we have fair practice employment, fair employment practices, and then equal opportunity rights are being expressed. Because we just don't want somebody to say, oh, hey, they didn't choose me because of that. Just be fair across the board, no matter if you like somebody or you don't like somebody. It's the best thing. The best thing to do is standardize processes, specifically in HR, because they lead to litigation, which affects the budget negatively.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, Madam Attorney. Madam Attorney.
Yes, in addition to what the HR director just said, just keep in mind that he is not in the position, he's an interim city manager. So you do not have a permanent city manager at this time. So he is applying just like anybody else would for this position. Then the application process is a required process of the city.
Yeah, we just established that, Madam Attorney. Thank you. Okay.
Okay, do we have any other questions and or concerns for our chief, Detective Cottenberg, or our HR director,
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly?
I had one more question. I know she left.
Madam HR,
This is-
Chief, please,
Not the chief,
y'all
but
stay
for the
close.
HR director.
please.
Mr. Mayor,
Commissioner Kelly, yes, sir.
let me be clear, because since it was brought up about driver's license, the question I raised was on the application
Mhm.
that you said you didn't receive. So I might understand that same concept applies? Is that what you're
For what?
saying? When I asked you earlier about if someone is not turning in the application, what would occur?
Mhm.
You said normally they'd be disqualified. It
Correct.
was brought up by one of my colleagues that the driver's license, what have you, although you said it's best practice,
Mhm.
is not necessarily a requirement. So I'm asking, is the same thing apply for the application?
Yeah, for if we need the application to disqualify, or if the driver's license.
No, you said earlier when I asked about the application, because you
Correct.
said you didn't have the application.
Yeah.
At the previous meeting,
Mhm.
you said you didn't have it.
Yes.
And I asked you, the way our process works, the way we do employees, if you don't turn in an application or part of the information packet or whatever, would you be disqualified?
Typically, yes, because when you apply online, there's a closing period. And if you didn't apply by that closing period, your application wouldn't even be in the pile technically.
Okay, I just want to be clear on that point versus the driver's license that was just turned in or whatever. You said it's best practice, but not a requirement. I'm trying to
For
get clarity.
this city specifically, yes, because it's not written in there and your charter specifically states for the city manager that you can appoint. And if you could, and then the only things you can require if you're appointing is just the educational requirement and the resume. It doesn't say you have to fill out an employment application, but it is best practice too, based on the charter that we have.
That's on appointing.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's the,
So
it's.
On
yes.
appointing or hiring?
Appointing, but appointing can be considered hiring as well. So that's where the legal would have to jump in and see where it weighs.
So then there's no application required. I mean, there's no application needed, you're saying?
Because if it's an appointment, yeah. You just need the education and the resume and you verify all of that information. But typically you should, because even with director level positions or any position, there should be a recruitment process where you fill out an employment application and you should get it before the closing of that posting. But based on our posting, all we ask for is the resume, which is why I would go back out and re-advertise for another week or so, close it, and then see you could even really vet the applicants and see who really wants this job. That's just my professional opinion though.
Mr. Mayor.
Vice Mayor.
So your suggestion is that we reopen, and we're reopening so that
we have applications online. They just sent in their resume. And I know we collected the resume and we publicly disclosed them. I'll go look at that after. But I suggest re-advertising at least for a week, have them apply online to the position, not in paper applications. So then it's all online and we don't collect applications. Applications don't disappear and it avoids that. They apply online. We pull the information from what's online.
Okay, because we didn't really do it in the order in which it should have gone.
Correct. We
Is what you're
kinda did
saying.
it in the middle or on the back end of things. I wouldn't have done it that way.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I understand exactly what you're saying.
Yeah.
Thank you for your information.
Mr. Mayor, I promise I'm gonna be quick.
Wait, before you
Oh.
do, but the applicant was talking about the application. So the applications that you have received from the two applicants.
The two finalists.
Just missing one. All right.
Yeah.
Was that done online or was that paper?
That was sent to it was an email app. No, it was emailed to the applicants, the three finalists, and they sent it back via email.
So it wasn't
But
digital.
no, nothing like that's why I said
That's what
based
you're
on
saying.
the
Okay.
information that we received, it looks like our applicant pool was only 3 when in fact it was 18.
So
Okay.
that's
And
what I was gonna say.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what happened. You need to get us
Alright.
on back.
Commissioner Williams.
Real quick question. I'm gonna go back to this because there's different.
It's fine.
No, because there's promotions and then there's applications. So I'm still trying to get.
Mhm.
Can you tell me everyone that within in any employee that is promoted, you're saying right now have to reapply for the job?
They have to
Fill out an application?
for the position, not
For the
job.
position.
Yeah, we've had actually a lot of people in public works that have gotten promoted from, let's say, a maintenance mechanic to a utility mechanic, and they were requested to put in another application. And that's how you're supposed to do it when you're changing classification and classification if it's a promotion. Now, if you have a reclassification, it's a different story. That means that person's been performing those duties and you have to reclassify them because it's unethical and it's the wrong thing to do because they're in the wrong classification and salary range. So that's a different story as opposed to if you're applying for a position. So this one is you're applying for the position, you have to put in an application for it.
Thank you.
You are taking us to school today.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
Mr. Mayor,
Vice Mayor.
if I may say, I like her suggestion because she's the HR director. she said we didn't do the process right. So open it back up, take it applications for a week. So they actually apply for the job. Then after they're selected, then we ask for the resume.
We review the employment application and the resume to see if they fit the minimum qualifications. That's when you see you moving forward, who you should select, because you may have selected somebody that doesn't even meet the minimum qualifications to be even selected for the position. So the next step after applying, closing the application, the posting, review all the applicants manually, see if they fit the minimum qualifications. Then I move it forward to you, and I will even disclose all of them that have applied and then tell you this is a select set of people that actually qualify to be selected for the position. And then we move forward to the backgrounds and then interviews.
Commissioner Kelly.
We need to keep in mind that we decided not to go with the firm, or as affectionately known, a headhunter. This commission would look at all the applications and determine, based on our opinion, the top 3 that we would select from. And that's how we got to the top 3. In a different setting, a firm, a screener, a headhunter, or whomever would have done that. But this commission decided to do that itself. So when we received all of the 18 applications and one withdrew, we decided to come to the 3. And that's how we got to the 3. So if we're going to open it back up, I'm trying to get a clarity. Are we opening back up for everyone? Are we opening back up? That's what I'm asking, Vice Mayor. Mr. Mayor, to the Vice Mayor. Are you asking, do we open it back up for anyone to apply and let HR do it? Is that what you're?
Correct, because she said no applications was done. What we received was only their resumes.
Right.
And their request to want the job.
Correct.
That we didn't do any application.
Mhm.
So they just sent us their, I'm right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Well, that's all we asked for, though. We didn't ask for an application.
right, because
Correct.
we didn't know. And we didn't have a HR director at the time.
Well, I think this commission decided they wanted to do the application themselves as opposed to bringing someone in. And so that's why we did it. I don't have a problem with sending it back out if that's what the commission wants to do. But I will say, I'm pretty sure in putting it back out, after folks hearing this dialogue, you're not going to get 18, but if that's the will of the commission, we'll just, I guess, go that route in some other form, because we can't do it in this setting, being a special meeting. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No problem. The only issue that I have, or concern, thank you, that I have is if we go your route, I think it deviates us from our code, because if we put it back out, do the application, since the way we're supposed to do it is a search committee, and I might be saying it wrong, but I know we're supposed to have a search committee, and the search committee is supposed to meet to bring, and then we appoint, right? Am I missing something, Madam Clerk, Madam Attorney?
Mr. Mayor, so attached in your agenda package, you have a copy of resolution 23-002, which established a search committee consistent with the City of Opa-locka Code of Ordinances. So
Okay.
I think that kind of spells out the role of the search committee.
Okay, so
And I'm not sure if the attorney's office has anything to add to that.
So if we were to push it back out and go your route, like I stated before, it will deviate us from our laws. And I'm not opposed to it. However, we need to make sure that it lines up.
Okay. Usually to re-advertise, it's not like we're starting it over. I guess we are.
We
kinda
are,
starting.
because then what we would have to do now
Yeah.
is the commission will have to say, who is the search committee? Then we will have to come back and have a meeting all over again for the search committee to meet. And then we will have to sit down and narrow this down to those applicants. And then so the process, and then Vice Mayor said that she ain't coming back no more next week. So it's pushing the timeline even further back,
Mhm.
even further back. And then to Commissioner Kelly's question as it relates to who are you opening this back up to, the last three finalists or everyone? Yeah, that's where I'm a little,
Mhm. Technically,
because it takes us, it's,
I
yeah.
understand, but if we do it the wrong way, we might have to do it over again anyways. So do it the right way, the thorough way, and it may take longer and we avoid litigation or issues in the future, as opposed to getting it expedited and it might get turned over or some issue maybe arise with favoritism. I'm just trying to avoid that from my end, from the back end. I'm looking at the negative and the possibilities of the negative and trying to avoid that moving forward. I understand it's unfortunate that it happened this way, and I wish I was working for you sooner. How about that? So we could have done it right the first way, but I'm trying to work with what we did have. And I've been trying to pivot and find different maneuvers to prevent that from happening. But all I see is there may be issues down the road for all of us if we don't do it this way.
Okay. All right. So, okay. I'm happy that you said that. So my question to the attorney is to one, we will have to, the original resolution 23002 was to establish the search committee. If the commission goes restarting it all over again.
Mhm.
So that one will remain. But the resolution that was passed after, which solidifies those three as the three finalists, we would need to amend that resolution. Right, Madam Attorney? So we would pretty much have to amend everything we've done.
If you decided through the mayor, if you decided that you wanted to go back out again, you could do that. And you could still have you all established as a search committee because it's still a process. You're still the search committee. I don't think.
No, not that one. The resolutions, that one, the resolutions that preceded that particular resolution.
If you wanted to amend this resolution to require an opportunity for all candidates or any candidate to reapply, we could amend this resolution to allow for additional time. I think the HR director said a week. We could amend this resolution to allow for a week and still require a new background check and the HR and amend it so that the HR director would basically assume all of the responsibilities that an outside party would have assumed. So we can amend it to specify what you all are saying right now, and you can do so at this special meeting.
Okay. I'm okay with the amendments. So then that means we would have to spell out in this resolution that one, we're going to reopen up the process, have all applicants apply online. Right, Madam Attorney?
Yes, sir.
So, and everyone would have to apply online. And we give them a week, which is what
Yes, you just need to let me know when you want to open it up, and then it'll be 7 days when it closes after that. So,
and then what we will require is a level 1 and level 2 background check.
Yeah.
And applications for everyone.
Yes.
Is there anything else you all would like to add to this resolution if you all agree to the amendment?
I totally agree with the amendment. Quick question. For the applications, is it 7 days to fill out, 5 days? Will you online have the application is due by, or you will be?
What happens
not
is
be?
that it opens a certain date and it says it's gonna close. So you can
Bingo.
do it
That's
like
what I
right
wanted. Okay.
before or whenever.
Okay.
People wait till like the last minute all the time.
Okay.
So
And
it-
then,
You will be, so, but Madam Attorney, the question I have, the applicants that are already, the applicants that have already applied, and we've done this process already. So let's just say if they say, you know what, I don't want to apply anymore. I want to stand based on what you already have, because I've already submitted my application, I've already done this process, and I don't think that I should have to do it again. How does that work?
That would not be an option, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. So, and that goes back to my original question. Will we have to amend that resolution that stated that those three candidates were finalists?
We would redraft this resolution to make clear that this would not be based on shortlisted candidates, but that all of the applicants who apply, that the process would require that all applicants apply, and I'll get the date from the Human Resources Director by blank date and online. I think that's the additional requirement, online. And that all of the things that you see in the resolution would still be applicable, because those are the kind of things that are required by your current policies and procedures and your code of ordinances. So everything that you see in your resolution would be required, in addition to allowing for this process to accept applications, open the process up to accept applications up to a certain period of time.
Okay, Commissioner Kelly. This is.
I must say, I've never seen this one before.
This is.
And I've been here 20-something years. I've never seen this before. And I've seen a lot, but never to this extent. I just want to be clear, since we're going to be voting. The HR director is stating that it will go back out, your suggestion, 7 days. So when it goes back out, it's just going to the 18 applicants, or is this going to go back out to everybody? I just wanna be clear.
Everybody in the nation.
So it's just going to go back as applying for the position.
Correct.
And then you're in concurrence with the attorney that it doesn't matter whether someone submitted or not, they will still have to resubmit everything.
They would still
again.
have to submit an employment application regardless. We can reach out to all 18 that submitted their resume, take the email addresses, and then say, please fill out the employment application.
So you reach out to all 18.
Plus, we give it out to the nation as well again. So it's giving more people to even increase.
So it's going to
their
go out to
application.
everyone, including 18.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you said close within 7 days.
But when do you want to reopen it?
Pardon me?
When do you want to reopen it? Because it's
I
7
haven't
days
got
from.
there yet, but I'm saying,
Yeah.
you're saying leave it out for 7 days, close it, and then you're now asking the commission for a direction on when to reopen.
Correct.
Okay, and that's what I'm getting at, Mr. Mayor, is that needs to be part of the amendment or whatever, if you're going to amend this resolution, what that date would be of a reopening.
Okay, so then my question would be to you, how long will you need to set up the application process online to, based on what the commission previously voted on as the minimum qualifications,
Mhm.
and put that in the system, and to send it out? How long do you need?
I would like till the end of the week.
To
Is
the end
that
of the week.
okay?
So if we opened it Monday of next week
That sounds
to
great.
go from Monday to and close the following Monday,
That works for me.
that works for you?
Yes.
Which will be, looking at a calendar, the 14th through the 21st.
Okay, got it.
All right, then that means that that the commission will have to. Okay, all right.
We
And
have to come back for benefits anyways, and I'm meeting with the rep on Thursday
I was
to get
just
us
about to
back
say,
there, so.
we got to do that at the same time.
Yeah.
We have to do it at the same time. All right, and then that'll put us back on track. At that meeting, we'll select the 3 finalists.
Correct.
And then we'll be back on track before the 31st. To start before the 31st, yeah.
Yeah.
No, because you need time to do the fingerprints in the background.
Correct.
Right. All right. What I'm asking you this now, other than, because it needs to be spelled out in the resolution. So the online application, what else? What else?
You just need the online application. We already have their resumes, but there's an option to attach their resumes to the online application. And then you just have to wait till it closes. It's also recommended that they have a valid driver's license because they will have a city vehicle.
All right. Anything else? So if we choose to amend this, anything else that the commission would like to see in this?
Quick question, Mr. Mayor. Do we, since we're adding a week, 7 days, correct? To this process, did we want to move the timeline to the 8th, September 8th, to tack on an additional week? Or do we think we can fit it all? I guess.
I would recommend moving it a little bit.
Yeah, a
further,
little, just maybe an
the
additional
safety
week.
net.
So I was just proposing, just move the timeline to September. I just said 8th. It could be 9th. I don't,
This process has become
Mi-
more complicated.
Mr.
than
Mayor?
necessary.
Well,
Oh,
I did
Commissioner.
wanna- I did want to say this. I know we're saying, we are saying, and of course, all this is happening in public, so it does look very cumbersome. But behind the scenes, and I know HR manager can attest, this happens. And this isn't like something, what I'm saying is, we know that now, our chief, along with HR, will have, a further discussion to just ensure that process happens. Another thing is you weren't here on board with us, which also attests to the fact that HR is like the lifeblood of an organization. And so we appreciate you, getting us back, reeling us in and getting us, because, people throw out opinions and you're going to be sued and we don't know. Listen, nobody up here works in HR. You're the expert. So we depend on you to let us know what we should do. And we appreciate you for that. And so I'm okay. I know it seems a little funky right now, but I'm okay with pivoting and going back and making sure that we get this right so that moving forward, because truth be told, when we say I've never seen anything like it, but we've seen a lot of things like it in the city, bigger than this. So let's just be straight up. So I'm just saying, thank you. I just want to thank you for, not being biased and putting us back on track to make sure. So now I feel a lot more comfortable with this process to make sure we get it going the right way. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
No
I
problem.
second what she said.
Okay, so we thank you for the.
Mr. Mayor, so as part of the amendment, since you are amending the resolution, I think I sent you all an email expressing how I feel about the whole process. So I would like the city clerk to be excluded and that all authorization as it relates to the city manager search go through the HR director. Thank you. I appreciate that.
I don't think that's gonna happen, madam. Because you're our conduit. Like
And Mr. Mayor, I don't mind providing you all with the information, doing what I do as city clerk in terms of scheduling special meetings, things of that nature. But in terms of HR, just like Commissioner Williams said, we're not HR professionals. I'm not an HR professional. And, I've expressed to you all how I feel about the whole process. And it's my request that I'm excluded from the city manager outside of, administrative duty that I'm to perform for the city commission. And I would appreciate if you take that into consideration when you vote on this item. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
But Mr. Mayor, real quick. If you were the conduit between information to us, are you saying you want to be excluded from that too?
No, I just said anything administrative in terms of providing you all with the information that's needed. I don't have a problem doing that, but in terms of the resumes, the applications, I was the person to receive the resumes and the
Got
letters
it.
of
Okay.
interest. If you're now having the HR
Yes,
director
yes.
handle the
Okay.
applications,
Understood.
then it's my request that everything go through the HR director. And if she needs to forward it to me after she does what she needs to do as the HR professional, I will provide that information to the city commission.
Okay.
Is it possible if, because you put together such eloquent and beautiful packets, perhaps you can lend to the HR director, someone on your staff to put those packets together again?
I have no issues
Thank you
putting
so
together
much.
any pack.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so, yeah, it's getting late. We've been here for a while, going around this mountain. Madam Attorney. So, so Commission, what we're okay with is doing away with what we already did and starting the process completely over. So we're all okay with that. All right, so Madam Attorney, the resolution that it stands today, so we need to add everything that was stated today in the resolution or amended in some way. So is that something that we can do now? Add a whereas in there, some kind of way? One, to add that every person that desires the job needs to do an application online. And if they don't do it by and that came up by one of my colleagues, if they don't do it by a certain time, that they are automatically disqualified.
Correct.
Also, that the background and fingerprints that's okay. We want to do the process.
Once you get to the finalists, we can do the background so we don't waste money on the other applicants that are not going to be selected.
Wait, what?
We could do the backgrounds on the finalists.
Okay.
After we've reviewed all of the applications that were submitted in that 7-day period. So we don't waste money on all 18 applicants if they're not going to be selected. We should really just focus on the top 3 or 4 that you previously selected or voted to select before. So basically, after the application is done, I'll review, see if they meet the minimum qualifications. The entire packet will go to all 5 of you. I will tell you that these people qualify, these people do not qualify. Then you would select the top 3. I don't know if you're going to do that in an open forum or not, like you did last time, but you would select the top 3. Then we would do the backgrounds.
Okay.
Schedule the backgrounds. Yeah.
The only thing that I will ask you not to do is to tell us who qualifies and who doesn't.
Okay.
Only because that's a decision that should be made from the commission.
Okay.
So what the applications that you receive, you process them the way you would normally process them, but telling us just that part.
No, I know.
That
Okay.
way-
All
okay.
right. Because, okay.
Only yeah.
Say that again?
I think she should.
No,
Wait a minute. If we're asking, I'm confused because we're asking her to receive them. And she said she's go through them, et cetera. But then you said you want to receive all of it. I was
I
confused.
want her to receive the applications is
Okay.
my desire.
Right.
If she receives the application, but not tell the commission that I'm not going to give you these because they did not meet the qualifications. Because the qualifications, I think that information and that decision should be made by the commission and not by the HR director because the manager works for us.
Can I
So
clarify?
that's what I mean when I said by that.
Can I clarify? So I was going to give you whoever applies, but I was going to tell you, because if, let's say if it requires a bachelor's degree in 3 years and you select somebody with no bachelor's degree, you're going to be in violation.
Okay.
So that's
Got
what
it.
I was saying. It wasn't that I was going to select, it's just seeing who meets the minimum, the bare minimum, to
Okay.
then move to the next round.
Okay. Because I thought you were saying something else.
That's all the power is vested in you.
Oh. Yeah. All right. So, Madam Attorney, we're good. Is that something that you all can create so we can wrap this meeting up
Yes.
really quick?
Yes, so reopen the process for 1 week from August 14th to the 21st. You have all applicants apply online. They'll be doing the level 1 and level 2 background check, which they have to provide authorization for.
We can't hear you, Madam Attorney.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, so we'll add that the process will be reopened for 1 week to all from August 14th through the 21st. All applicants will have to apply online. A level 1 and level 2 background check will be conducted. And if the applicants have not applied by the 21st, then they are disqualified from consideration. And driver's license, resume should be included with the application.
All right, anything else you all want to add in the, that amendment? We're good on that? All right, so, let's vote on the amendment and then we can vote on the resolution. Madam Clerk,
I need a motion and second on the amendment.
okay, so I'm gonna have a motion,
Move it.
move by Vice Mayor, second by Commissioner Bass. Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams,
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Irvin.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes,
Motion passes on the amendment.
okay, and then now we can call the question.
Vice Mayor Irvin,
Yes.
Commissioner Kelly,
Yes.
Commissioner Williams.
Yes.
Commissioner Bass.
Yes.
Mayor Taylor.
Yes,
Motion passes 5-0.
all right. If there is nothing else.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Move, for adjournment by Commissioner Kelly, second by Vice Mayor. This meeting is adjourned.